Live stream. We're streaming. We're live. We're live. We're on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Hi, Denise. How are you?
I'm good, Carrie.
Good to
How are
see
you?
everybody. Doing
Yep.
great. I'm happy to be back. I love Tuesdays because I get to hang out with you and talk about things that we can remove from our life, because that's the whole point of this show is to make room, right? Make room and to bust the
Bust the busy myth, you guys. It's not a thing, right? Busy makes it sound like we just have a lot of to-dos. We're actually productive people in society, and that's how we should portray it. So we're here to bust the busy myth by taking away things from your everyday to-do list and making you more productive.
You know what we're kind of doing? We're making a to-don't list. That's what we're doing.
We are.
I love it. All right. Because I think everybody can check things off of their to-don'ts, right? It's easier than the to-dos. All right. So like every show, what we want to give you is 3 easy things that you can remove from your life today, right? And you don't have to do all 3. You can do just 1. That's what we recommend because we don't want to overwhelm people. We know baby steps, just taking small steps. We're going to talk about something called the slight edge, little preview in a minute. But we just want you to take away that one thing. We give you 3 and it's your choice. And we hope that as you come back week after week, you're going to see huge changes in your life from these small little steps. So our 3 things this week, Denise, you want to introduce our 3 takeaways?
Yeah. So the first takeaway is take away, or actually take a tech break. Okay, so take a little bit of time away. That's referred to in a lot of circles as a dopamine detox, but you're walking away from tech, not forever, just a little bit of a break. The second one is take a 10-minute walk and reconnect to nature instead of your phone, your iPad, your laptop. And the third one is take away the negative self-talk. And we all know what I'm talking about. And we're going to get into each one of those in a little more detail.
All right, great. So where do we want to start? What are you most passionate about, Denise? What's the one that's on your mind today?
I think the tech break. I think that we've really committed a lot of time to technology, especially in the last 2 years. We have switched. We have gone from in-person meetings to online meetings. So all of us are very good at Zoom, all ages. Right? That's how we're connecting. And it's really time to get off Zoom and connect one-on-one when you can. So if you have someone in your town or in the next town or even in your county that you're meeting with, you should go get a coffee, right? Be in person. It is now time. And there are reasons for this. We're going to, lead up to that. But what happens when you're so into your technology, and especially, for younger kids who have been raised on this, they get what are called dopamine hits. And dopamine hits are fine. That's your pleasure, right? Like that gets you excited, and that's fine in small amounts. But when dopamine hits are too frequent and you're using it too much. So if you're on, they say heavy users for technology are 3 to 5 hours a day. Well, I know people are on their technology much more than that, right? And so what happens is your cortisol is kind of in cahoots with your dopamine, right? It keeps it going. Okay. And so we know cortisol can cause fatigue and many other things, but even worse, serotonin, which is our happy chemical response,
and our confidence builder, right? Serotonin is the thing that actually gets us off the couch, gets us away from streaming, our favorite streaming thing, and gets us into life, right?
Motivation, right? It's our motivation. It gets us going. You're right. And so what it does is actually beats that down. So as your dopamine, as you're getting more and more dopamine hits, your serotonin's going down. And here, the only thing that's going to replace that is long dopamine detoxes, so that you can build that back up. So Carrie and I were talking this week, and we started talking about this subject. And I brought up a story about my son, Luke. So Luke is always wanting to help. He's so great, and he does a business with me. But here's the problem. And I notice this all the time. He can work for just so long. And then I go look for him, and he's gone. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm watching. No. And I have to bring him back. He's 21. Like, he's not a baby, right? He's not a young, he is young, but, and so I kind of challenged him this week to do just 3 times in the day, 15-minute slots of work devoted to accomplishing a goal, so that he can get that dopamine hit from accomplishing the goal instead of looking at maybe friends or, on TV, on his phone, or I don't mean like real friends. I mean, Jennifer Aniston friends, and then get a real sense of accomplishment by completing something, because what we're finding is their focus and motivation is going way down. I'm not just talking about kids. So it's a problem.
Yeah, it's really, really true. And I have a couple of scary statistics, but I don't want them to be scary. I want them to be motivating. I want them to be like a wake up call for for all of us, hopefully. So if one were to investigate how distracted young people are, and this is from a really cool book called Living Joy, because this is one of my goals for this year, is to be more joy filled. They tracked laptops of college students and found that on average, they switch tasks every 19 seconds, and more than 75% of students keep a computer window open for less than 1 minute at a time. They're literally tweaking out on data. And there is a direct correlation between increased screen time during leisure and increased unhappiness. So it's funny, we escape into these devices because we think, I need a break, right? Like, I'm working so hard on a screen usually, and then I need a break. So I go to a screen. But what we're doing to ourselves, like, really, really think about this. How do you feel, right? What we're really doing to ourselves is making ourselves unhappy. Suicide rates were 46% higher in 2015 than in 2007. And that, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is even before the pandemic. We're not even talking about the statistics post-pandemic. So they've also done these studies, and you can actually do this where you remove yourself from social media for a month or so. I think it's called, what did you say? It was a fast of some kind.
I love fast. Yeah, a detox or a fast. Yeah.
A detox or a fast, right? And they said that 36% of the people who did this were less lonely. 33% said they were less depressed, and 9% in just 1 week said they were happier. So I think that's amazing that, all in 1 week, that was a 1 week fast, that you could see that kind of turnaround. So I'm going to share something that might sound scary to a lot of people, but I love to give people practical things to do. And that is, on your phone, you can set limitations. You can actually set like downtime. So my phone doesn't do anything before 9, and it doesn't do anything after 9. You can set it so, like, if your kid or your mother or your neighbor or something, somebody you want to hear from, it's like an emergency, you can have that breakthrough. So you can set those, so you don't have to worry about the people that are, urgent things. I love that. That would be my tip number 1. My tip number 2 for the phone is, when we were putting the show together, we had this problem where every time an email came through, we heard the pinging in the background. We didn't want you guys to hear all the emails that were coming through from, all the people that we love to talk to about all this great stuff. We want to be with you. And then when we're off, screen, then we can connect with you. So we wanted to separate that, get rid of the pinging. And when I did that, I actually got rid of all my notifications accidentally. So you can get rid of sound notifications, but did you know you can get rid of all those little numbers that rack up in your apps? And I have to tell you, it's so freeing, because I look at my phone and I'm like, oh, there's nothing there. It's nothing for me to worry about. And so it's reduced my screen time so much. I'm so much more productive. And then, every, 4 hours or so, I'll just open my phone. I check all my messages. I deal with all that, maybe twice a day. Nobody's complaining I'm not getting back to them. My relationships have actually gotten better. I'm a happier person. So those are my couple of takeaways, practical takeaways for you.
No, I love those. But there are studies that have been done. There are a few studies from Norway, and I love this. I have to read. Huge correlation between the rise of mental health issues and the rise of technology.
Yeah.
So it is that, that isolation. It is that dopamine, almost like an addiction.
And it's not just young people, by the way. Like I have two elderly parents who are just as screen addicted as, my 19 and 21-year-olds. So when they feel like it's cold outside, there's nothing to do, they're not feeling well, at television is such like an easy go-to, right? So it does affect all of us. No one is exempt from this screen addiction.
So let's talk about languishing.
Okay.
Because I found that's it. Really, you found that article by Adam Grant. It is also a YouTube. It is really fascinating. He said it's like the forgotten middle mental health issue, where there are other health issues that we pay a lot of attention to, but it's actually a loss of motivation, a loss of focus, and just kind of, and this is his word, meh, right? You just meh. Like blah, like meh. Blah. So and you don't even realize it's your drive is dwindling. You don't realize that all these things are happening. It just happens. And then one day you're kind of like, oh, not very excited about anything, not really wanting to do much. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a pandemic that causes this. This can be caused by anything. No. In life, but it's almost like he likens it to Groundhog Day. You're just living the same day over and over and over again. So how do we break this, right? We can break this by literally connecting to nature, by going outside.
Go for a walk, right? Get outside.
Yeah.
And when it's nice outside and it's clean, like, if you live, I don't know, in Queens, maybe you don't want to do this in the city, but take your shoes off and go put your feet on the grass. Like really, really connect with the ground. It makes a big difference. One of the things we do in our doTERRA business is we use grounding oils, right? So oils that come really, really from the ground, from roots, right? So things like vetiver, very, very grounding oil. We have a blend called Balance, also really, really grounding. And just those couple of things, put your oils on, take your socks off. If it's nice and it's warm and it's clean, and go take a walk. And it's, how long do you have to do it? Not very long, right, Denise?
10 minutes.
10
Just
minutes.
give a 10-minute break. And you'll come.
And by the way, no phone, right? Nope. You can't have a phone, and you can't have, like, you're not listening to a podcast, you're not listening to a book on tape, you're not educating yourself, you're not like catching up on anything, you're just walking. It's
a beautiful thing. And so think about the next one, which is actually taking away the negative self-talk. And we all do it. We don't even catch ourselves. But I think to take it away, and it's another thing, like give yourself small goals. So Carrie, one of our favorite books that Carrie and I have read over the years is called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, right? It's a fabulous book.
Love it.
And it's really about turning these simple disciplines into massive successes. So what does that mean? That means you might say to yourself, oh my gosh, I'm always out of time. I never have time to do anything. And that's not true, but it's the way we choose to spend our time, right? So if you choose to spend your time, tracking down things on your desk or running kids around. Oh, that's another thing. I have to mention this before I even go into that.
Okay, great.
Recently, I was listening to a talk, and these two women are, they're experts in the field of connection and multi-level marketing. And they're really intriguing to me. And so they were saying, you cannot have one to-do list. Because if you are working, you have to have a work to-do list, which is your goal list. And the other things like, go to the grocery store, do the laundry, pick up the kids, who's going to, the sport, outing, whatever. All of those are on a separate list. Those are those little like, yay, check, 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 yay. But if you block your time for like an hour a day, then you do your big goals, your big important. So you're taking care of the important to move your goal, whatever you set for yourself forward, as opposed to getting caught up in doing the laundry. So that's where the slight edge comes in. If you can add every day, start with 15 minutes, like I said to Luke, and then move it up where you're having blocks of time, where you have uninterrupted focus, you will be amazed. And put this on silent. They can nothing's going to happen in a half an hour or an hour that you're not gonna, need to know about. You can pick it up later. But go ahead,
Yeah.
Carrie. What are you gonna say?
I was going to say, especially with kids and moms, I'm sorry, moms, I'm going to talk to you right now for a second because I'm a mom. I was a high school teacher for a really long time. I taught all grades, but just kind of finished a round of high school teaching. And the one thing that I think parents often forget about is the joy that comes with solving your own problems, right? Sometimes I think we feel like because we're so connected with our kids, if they've got an issue, they're just going to pick up the phone and ask, right? Or if you're a teacher, the kid is not going to like investigate. They're just going to walk up to your desk and say, like, I don't understand, right? But they haven't really put the pedal to the metal. They haven't really discovered what's inside of them, what they're capable of. They haven't sat in a discomfort. We don't like to sit in discomfort, right? But you know what, parents, if we put our phones away and we leave our kids to like be uncomfortable, when they're uncomfortable, they will start to problem solve because they really want the thing, whatever the thing is, right? And we were talking like we were kids. I don't know, like I could be gone the whole day. Do you know how many problems we solved? Probably these little mini problems. They like to say micro now, right? These little micro problems. But all those micro problems built up our serotonin, right? It made us feel confident that if we could do this, then we could do something else. Then we could do the bigger thing, right? You don't go from 0 to 60 unless you're a really expensive sports car. Human beings need to have, incremental achievements to build confidence. And by the way, to build confidence in the people around us about ourselves, right? So I'm not going to believe in Denise's ability to build a business unless I've seen her do things. So if we're even friends and I'm constantly like rushing in and fixing everything, that's robbing you of your opportunity to shine.
Yeah,
And
my
that-
confidence. That
Yeah.
I can do it myself. Yeah, like a kid, I have to separate a little so that I can figure it out on my own and shine on my own. Because then I'm truly shining. Then it's
Right.
not someone else's labor that created my success. I 100% agree with that.
And we stole that from our kids. So many kids don't get that option to
No.
solve on their own.
Think about my parents. I live in a small town. My parents didn't even have a car for the first 3 years. And so let me tell you, if you forgot your lunch or you forgot your homework or you forgot anything, you had to go to the teacher, you had to go to, the cafeteria and say, hey, can I get you tomorrow? You had to, or not eat or borrow something,
Right.
beg something from a friend, right? There was no, I'll walk it up to you. We didn't even have cell phones, right? You'd have to go to the office and make the call, first of all. And so,
oh yeah, well, I didn't get my kids cell phones because one of the things we talked about earlier was all the big tech companies, and I'm learning from them. Their kids don't have devices, right? Steve Jobs never even gave his kids any kind of cell phone, so that speaks volumes to me. The fact that they created it, right?
yeah, there's a lot of studies that have since that creation and since that introduction of the smartphone, how anxiety and fears and depression have built. There's so many studies on that. It's just fascinating. But yeah, my kids didn't either, especially I would say to them, you're down the block. I mean, all you'd have to do is go make a call. Oh, my friends have it. I go, that's not a good enough reason. That's, those are their parents. That's not us. I was a little bit of the house of no. I was.
Yeah, me too. I was definitely the house of no. I was looking for another quote that I wanted to share.
But I would no, not to be contrary, but to actually edify them, to build them, to help them, like you said, figure things out. I think it's super important. So what are you looking for?
It's really, really, really good. We covered all those quotes. I run it and there's a book, I haven't read it. But I'm really impressed with some of the quotes that I found in this book, which is, we could all maybe go check it out and see if we have things to talk about. It's called iGen. So I, and then GEN. Just, really sobering statistics about what's going on with people. And that's what we're talking about today, languishing. So what is languishing? It's one of the 3 effects of your sympathetic nervous system, right? That we used to say fight or flight, right? So you get this huge rush of adrenaline, right? And your body decides, can I face this danger, right? Am I strong enough, or do I have to run away from it? And when you do that, you can't rest, you can't digest, you can't produce all those good hormones like dopamine, serotonin, all that kind of stuff that happens in your enteric nervous system. So usually we fight the tiger, and then we realize we conquered the tiger, it's over. And then our body would go into parasympathetic, right? And you would rest and digest and boost your immune system. But we're not doing that anymore. We're just like constantly bombarding ourselves with these stressors that your body really feels like you're surrounded all the time, all the time, all the time. And so you can't stay in fight or flight forever, because it would just kill you to have a heart attack and die. So the body's self-preservation is to freeze, to just shut down. And that's where we are as a society. So 95% of us are languishing. And so one of the things I really want people to think about is, are you in the 95%? What are the fruits of your life right now? Like, how does your family look? And this is not to make you feel bad or sad or mad or angry or frustrated. It's just to give you pause so you can get out. Anybody can get out, right? We take away these 3 things and we can get out. And so what are our 3 takeaways as we close today's show? I'll let you go through them one more time, Denise.
Remember, take away the technology for just a little bit, like do a little bit of a detox or fast, as we called it. It's really important to do. It's going to be really beneficial. The second one is take a 10-minute walk. Take away time, that 10 minutes from something you've been working on, and go reconnect with nature and get balance. And the third one is take away the negative self-talk. Give yourself enough small tasks done over time, like daily, that you build a really good sense of accomplishment and you're reaching your goals. These are all really important to get you out of that languishing. We're going to be in the 5%. We want you to come with us.
Yeah, and what are the 5% going to do?
Take over the world. No, I'm kidding.
Take over the world.
We're going to move forward. We're going to be productive. We're going to have fun. We're going to be creative. We're going to work together.
We're going to be the problem solvers. Right. So just think, the people who are languishing are not the people feeding the refugees in the Ukraine, right? The people who are languishing are not creating new innovative technologies for people who have disabilities, right? Like I mean, I was watching something about prosthetics the other day, like amazing things, but you don't get that when you're just sitting there consuming. You get that when you connect to your true self, and then you put yourself out there in the world.
No, they're looking at the news and they're taking it in a way that they're winding up on the couch. They're not moving forward. And we want to move forward. There's a lot to be done. And you and I like to help. We're helpers. And so we want to help move people forward.
Yeah, there's so much to do. Get off the couch.
Ouch. Is that a takeaway? It's not quite a takeaway. That's kind of an encouragement. Yeah. Just get off the couch.
It's encouragement.
It's encouragement.
Get off the couch. And shut off your devices, and and tell yourself it's a good day and you're a good person and you're going to be fine.
Yeah. That's our wish for you.
Yeah. Because it's true.
It is true. All right.
All right. So, 30 minutes gone again. All right. Bye, Denise.
Bye, Carrie. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.